Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito show on Damon Looks. How cool is this? I mean, come on. Um, I'm so excited to be doing a YouTube show here for everybody. Today's topic is addiction. Is it a disease? This is part 3. Okay, I've already done part 1 and part 2. If you missed it, guys, check out my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and check out the 2 videos and share them. Please, I'm asking you to share them because that's what's going to make this go viral. Okay, we need that to happen to help save lives. So I'm going to read a poem. I'm going to read a few poems today, but I'm going to read a poem to start the show. This one I did not write, and actually the author is unknown. It's out there, it's incredible, but the author is unknown. Okay, so I did not write this poem. I wish I did. I destroy homes, tear families apart, take your children, and that's just the start. I'm more costly than diamonds, more costly than gold. The sorrow I bring is a sight to behold. And if you need me, remember I'm easily found. I live all around you in schools and in town. I live with the rich. I live with the poor. I live down the street and maybe next door. My power is awesome. Try me, you'll see. But if you do, you may never break free. Just try me once, and I might let you go. But try me twice, and I'll own your soul. When I possess you, you steal and you'll lie. You'll do what you have to just to get high. The crimes you'll commit for my narcotic charms will be worth the pleasure you'll feel in your arms. You lie to your mother, you'll steal from your dad. When you see their tears, you should feel sad. But you'll forget your morals and how you were raised. I'll be your conscience. I'll teach you my ways. I take kids from parents and parents from kids. I turn people from God and separate from friends. I'll take everything from you, your looks and your pride. I'll be with you always right by your side. You'll give up everything, your family, your home, your friends, your money. Then you'll be alone. I'll take and I'll take till you have nothing more to give. When I'm finished with you, you'll be lucky to live. If you try me, be warned this is no game. If given a chance, I'll drive you insane. I'll ravish your body. I'll control your mind. I'll own you completely. Your soul will be mine. The nightmares I'll give you while lying in bed, the voices you'll hear from inside your head, the sweats, the shakes, the visions you'll see. I want you to know these are all gifts from me. But then it's too late, and you'll know in your heart that you are mine and we shall not part. You'll regret that you tried me. They always do. But you came to me, not I to you. You knew this would happen. Many times you were told, but you challenged my power and chose to be bold. You could have said no and just walked away. If you could live that day over, now what would you say? I'll be your master. You'll be my slave. I'll even go with you when you go to your grave. Now that you have met me, what will you do? Will you try me or not? It's all up to you. I can bring you more misery than words can tell. Come take my hand, let me lead you to hell. Signed, Drugs and Alcohol. So the reason why I wanted to share that first was so that everybody out there really gets an understanding of what this show is about. Okay? This show is here to help save people. You know, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about choices and a little bit about disease, right? So I'm the author of, I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. See, 28 years ago, guys, I was a dumbass. 28 years later, I'm a smart ass. And, you know, was it my choice in the beginning? Yes, absolutely. It's everyone's choice in the beginning. So the reason why I refuse to call it a disease is because it's not. It's simply not. Let me tell you how it works and how your brain is wired and where the word disease really comes from. Okay. So the word disease really comes from the word dis-ease. What that means is there's something wrong. Okay. There's a dis-ease going on in your body. Okay. In your brain. So that's where the word disease comes from, first of all. So I don't want you to get it twisted. I want you to understand what I'm trying to say here. When an addict chooses to use, and I'm gonna tell you something, guys, it doesn't have to be drugs, it doesn't have to be alcohol, it could be food, it could be sex, it could be porn, it could be anything. Because whatever you allow to take a hold over on you, that's where the disease in your brain comes. Okay? So your brain cells are changed, they are altered. And that's when it no longer is a choice at that point. So give me 1 second, guys. There you go. So I have an addiction coach actually. Hey, Mackie, on, and he's going to be typing things. And I put that they could see what you type, Mackie. Okay. I trust everything you say. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So your brain cells are altered. And that's what happens through your addiction, through your course. It could be years, it could be a lifetime, it could be a month, it could be whatever it is while you're using whatever it is. And I'll say it again, it could be food, it could be sex, it could be porn, right? It doesn't have to just be drugs or alcohol. Whatever alters your mind and your thinking and your, actions, right? There's a dis-ease going on in your body, in your brain. So I'm proof that you can be healed. Okay, I'm proof you can be healed 100%. I'm a Christian, and Mackie will agree with this. God had to change my life. I had to give my life to God. I talk about God all through this book because if it wasn't for God, I would be dead today. So, the same way we give our lives over to addiction in this poem, this horrendous poem, this incredible, horrendous poem that I just read to you that I didn't write, the same way we allow addiction to take over our lives and destroy us, we can allow God to take over our lives and heal us. So today, more than ever, that's what we're going to be talking about. Part 1 and part 2, I kind of gave you more of an idea of addiction. I'm going to do the same here now, but then I'm going to read 2 more poems to you. Right? So it starts off with a choice. It starts off with someone needing to escape from whatever it is. Okay, I'll give you an example. So with me, and it's in my book, a little bit about it is in my book, right? So I was touched by a neighbor. I was like 13 years old and I was touched by a neighbor. But I was a different kind of a kid. I came from New York. I was a tough Italian kid. I'm going to be honest with you. Of course, it had to have affected me being touched by this man, but it didn't affect me the way it affects most young people. I was really a tough kid. How it affected me was this. I threatened him and said he had 30 seconds to get off of me or my dad would kill him with his bare hands. And he did. And then I had my uncle tell him that he knew, because I knew if I told my dad would kill him. And they were moving away anyway in a couple weeks to another state. So it was fine. But this is what happened to me. I really, truly believed maybe I let a child molester go. But I was only 13. Then I was angry at my aunt and uncle. Maybe they should have interceded. Maybe they should have handled it differently. But back then, guys, things were very different. Today, cops, I would call them immediately. I don't care, who the person is. But back then, things were a little different. So all these years later, I believed I let a child molester go. And that was what I needed to escape from. I needed to turn my brain off from thinking that. And that's what made me start using drugs. So in the same respect, that's usually what happens when people start drinking or doing drugs or eating too much or, using porn, whatever it is, right? Because they want to escape. Whatever it is to them that they went through, they wanted to escape. So at that moment, it's a choice. We're choosing to escape from our reality by using some kind of a drug or something that's going to make us feel good, even gambling, right? Whatever it is. So it's a choice. And then again, a dis-ease of your body will occur and of your brain through the addiction, but it can be healed. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something, and I've said this in my other two videos because I have to keep saying this over and over again. The reason why I knew there was something odd about me believing I was powerless and I had this disease was the programs teach your loved one has a disease. Your loved one is powerless over their addiction. But yet they tell the family members and friends to allow that person that they love with a disease, which they are powerless over, to hit rock bottom. Kick them to the curb if you have to. Kick them out of your house. Don't give them food. Don't give them money. Don't take their car. Whatever it is, they have to hit rock bottom. Now think about that for 1 second, because that never made sense to me. If your child or loved one or good friend has this disease that they are powerless over, their addiction, right? They're powerless over it. That means they have no power over it. So you're going to kick them to the curb, or are you going to step in and try to help them? Because to me, that's when they need you the most. So I'm going to say some things here that totally contradict all the teachings out there. I've actually kidnapped family members. Absolutely have. They'll come tell you I did. Okay? Because to me, while they're going through that, they are powerless at that moment. Okay? They do have a disease of the brain at that moment. So how can they make choices that are going to help them? That's when we need to step in. That's the one thing I would love to be able to change about these programs. That's when we need to step in, regardless of what the person with the disease says. So I've locked family members in my home, in my basement years ago. I've kidnapped them. You have no idea what I've done. Because I remember me back then, and I remember my brother, he was sitting in the bathroom with me, crying with me. And I remember them being there for me 24/7. I don't know what I would have done because I wasn't capable of making any good, rational decisions for my health and well-being, right? So that's when you need to intercept. I'm sorry, but I don't care what you have to do. Handcuff them. I don't care. Put them in jail. I don't care. Until they can get the drug of choice out of their system, okay, for at least 30 days, they can't make rational decisions. Now, I have a counselor, Dave Mackey, like I said, he's listening in, and what he deals mostly with is sexual addiction, right? Yes, yep, that's what I said, Mac. They're powerless because of the chemicals in their body and in their brain. That's where the disease comes in. So I agree with that 100%. So what Mackey deals with, and Mackey, put your info also on there. He's out of Florida now, but he can do Skype sessions with you guys, calls, whatever it is. He mostly deals with sexual addiction. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mackey, right? Mostly sexual addiction, males, porn, all that. I do say this, believe it or not, drugs and alcohol are not the hardest addictions to beat. Believe it or not, food and sexual addictions are, because we have to eat every single day. So food has to be in our lives, and we were created sexual beings. So sex is in our lives. So those two things we have to deal with on a daily basis. They are the most difficult addictions, okay, to be healed from. I'm going to put my glasses on so I could read what Dave Mackey is saying. All right. Yep. Takes 30 to 90 days for the drug to get out of your system. Yep. Males and their betrayed partners. Finally. Okay. And their betrayed partners. That's right. He will also help your partner. If any men are out there listening and you struggle with sexual addiction or porn or any of that, he will also help your partner. because they absolutely do feel betrayed. Finally with the glasses, there they are. The reason I don't try to wear them, Mackie, is because there's a glare. That's the only reason. So when I watch the videos back, I see this glare, not because I don't want to wear my purple glasses. I love them. And yes, I have been a smart ass for most of those 21 years. So that's it in a nutshell, guys, with the disease part, okay, and the chemicals. And people say to me all the time, well, how can sexual addiction be as bad? Because again, I'm going to say this to you, we are created sexual beings. Okay, we have sex in our lives. But here's the problem. When you have an addiction to it, that's all you think about 24/7, just like the person with the drug. All they're thinking 24/7 is how to get their next fixed, how to get their next drug. Who are they going to steal? How are they going to plan it out? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's a great point that I'm making. Yes. I want to talk to you about that too. So everybody thinks that the addict is powerless. All right. And on one hand, again, the addict is powerless over their addiction while it's going on. Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you how smart they are as well during their addiction. They can scheme, they can lie, they can steal, they can figure out exactly what to do to get their next fix. Now think about that for a minute. That addict, right, is waiting for a parent to come home. He knows where the dad puts his wallet at night. He knows where the mom leaves her bag. He knows everything. He's got it all planned out. In the same respect, he should also be able to figure out how to get clean and sober, but chooses not to. So it's kind of like a catch-22. All right. So I'm going to tell you a story about me and what I guess my rock bottom was, my so-called rock bottom, and what made me change. Okay. So I owned a beauty salon back in the 80s and 90s. And I had very prestigious and very wealthy clients. I was in the Lawrenceville, Princeton area. And, I can't really say names, but one of my clients was a female judge at the time who ended up being a municipal court judge. She was the boss of all the judges back then. She's still in my life. We're still very good friends. And I used to go to the courthouse and meet her for lunch a lot. Back then, 1990, I had a 1990 brand new Eldorado black and gold Cadillac. How about that? With Elvis license plates. So I say that to say this. It was a very flashy car. I made way too much money back then, way too young. And that's a big part of also what made it easy for me to do what I wanted to do with the choices I made. So anyway, one night, me and a friend of mine, she was driving my car. We were going to go cop our dope in Trenton. And our drug dealer didn't have any. So we had to have this drug dealer get in the back of my car. We drove 2 blocks to where he told us to go. And he gets the dope and gets back in my car. And an unmarked police car was following us. He recognized my license plates. He recognized me from being in the courthouse a lot. And he knew I was a friend of this judge. He called this judge in the middle of the night after he stopped us, pulled us over, took our info, went back to his car and came back and said, Geri, Judge so-and-so said, get this guy out of your car now and go home and get some sleep. All that went through my mind was, oh my goodness, my family, what are they going to think? My business, my friend, the judge. Are you kidding me? That was the night that I made a decision to change my life. So that unmarked police car cop saved my life. Okay. I want to say something else. They teach the addict in these rooms to be selfish, that it's all about them and their recovery. I'm going to tell you how I disagree with that too. Because if I was selfish, I would be dead. Because the only reason I got clean and sober was because I was not selfish and all I thought about was my family. So it's not working, guys. Them being selfish is not working. Okay. It being all about them and their recovery, it's just not working. Only 7%, 7 or 8% make it in these rooms. That tells me, being the person I am, things have to make sense to me. That's not making sense. Something's wrong. I'm not saying nobody gets healed and nobody gets help through these rooms. And I'm not telling anyone not to go to meetings. And this is why I say this in my book as well. If you have no support system and you don't have family members and good friends, then the meetings are for you. I would never tell anyone not to do that. But if it's not helping, there's other ways. You could reach out to me. You could reach out to Mackie. Okay. There's other ways to get healed. Okay. God is the answer. And a lot of people I talk to say, I say, do you believe in God? And this is what they say to me. Yeah, I do. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. Okay, but then do you believe in God? Or do you believe in the stars and the moon and whatever else is up there higher? What do you believe in? So that's a big part of the problem here. God has been taken out of everything anymore. God is the answer, guys. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I talk to him every single day. Not religion. Don't get it twisted. Not the church, the Catholic Church. No, absolutely not. God. Okay? Jesus. That's who I have a relationship with. Not a priest, pastor, ministers, no one. I have a relationship with Jesus. I go to him every day. I take all my issues and problems to him. Okay? So I'm here to just say it. Listen, without God, without Jesus, you're not going to make it. You might make it. Okay, wait. Let me say something. Has anyone out there heard the term dry drunk? Well, that's what I call people who are trying to make it every single day for years and years and years. 10 years later, they go to 5 meetings a week. 10 years later, I know someone who goes to 3 meetings a day. To me, that is not any kind of a life. I'm sorry. So to me, that's just another addiction that's keeping, and listen, it's keeping you from killing yourself. It's keeping you from drinking and doing drugs. But don't you want something even better than that? Don't you want to be free? Don't you want to be able to have a normal, if there is such a thing as normal, but a healthier lifestyle? Maybe a lifestyle where you can travel, have fun, right? Because that's what I have. I can't imagine not having the life I have. I can't imagine being stuck, going to meeting after meeting after meeting every day, every week. That to me is not life. So there's other ways. And again, reach out to me. I can help you. I'm also a nutritional health coach. I can help you with the food you're eating. Sugar is the biggest culprit. Your brain cannot distinguish the difference between sugar and heroin. Okay? So the sugar today is high fructose corn syrup. It's not even sugar, guys. Like what my nonna used to bake, that was sugar, just natural raw sugar. It's not even that anymore. Okay? So it's just another drug that your brain is now addicted to. That is why 100% of addicts, 100% of them, not 99, 100, if they're honest, will tell you they're addicted to sugar. Okay? And the other thing about that is, in the rehabs, what do they give you? Sugar. So this is really crap. And I would do anything in my power to help save all these people. Let's see. Okay. So now I want to read another poem. All right. Now, this I wrote, and it's called Choose Wisely. Okay, guys? Choose wisely. A healthy outlook begins with you. A life fulfilled is up to you too. A healthy diet is where you start, but a healthy mind is the major part. Remove from your diet all sugar, my friend. All processed foods kill in the end. Try being vegan or at least mostly greens. Veggies will heal even unhealthy genes. To get rid of toxins, niacin's the key. Will remove even cravings, flushing out needs to be. Sugar is a drug, your brain thinks it is. To get you real clean, go take my quiz. The real way to detox is not with a drug. It's through nutrition and also a hug. Your brain sure can heal. I promise you this. If you do a cleanse, the drug you won't miss. Nutrition's the key. Do not be fooled. What NA is teaching must be overruled. You're in charge of life choices you make. Keeping them healthy is your journey to take. Life is made of choices. We all must pick and choose. We need to be real careful when breaking all the rules. I'm not saying be boring or never have fun, but try to keep balance with things you have done. Too much of anything may hurt you in the end. Try to maintain balance so not to lose a friend. Even the people with time you do spend, choose your friends wisely or you may lose in the end. The choices I made from when I was young have surely changed. My thoughts have now swung. So know your worth. Say, it starts with me. You are the treasure and you own the key. Got that, guys? You own the key. So take the good and leave the bad of everything I'm saying here today. And the reason I'm saying that is because I don't want to deter anyone out there. I don't want anyone to feel like it has to be all or nothing, because that's not true either. Okay? Little steps, baby steps, start there. Because any healthy, positive changes that you make will really matter. So, think about this. Think about how many years you've done your drugs, you've drank, right? Porn, whatever it is, unhealthy eating. Think about how many years you did that. Well, it's not going to be overnight that you're going to be healed. Okay? And like Mackie was saying, 30 to 90 days is when your body could be flushed from these toxins, right? 30 to 90 days for your brain to start focusing. Okay? But in 1 year, and that's not a long time, guys, in 1 year, everything can be reversed in your body through nutrition, through God. Okay? In 1 year, it can all be reversed. You have to put the time in. So I'm not saying do it all at once, but I am saying start now. Okay? So I want to read a chapter out of my book. They're very small chapters, and I want to read it to you. Okay? Hold on. Okay. All right. Honesty. See, because this is where it starts. If you're not going to be honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with anyone. You're absolutely not. Okay? So that's where it starts. Okay? So chapter 1 of my book. I'm going to read this to you. Let's be honest once and for all. Stand on the truth and you won't fall. I'm not an addict, this I know, because my God, He tells me so. You see, this world will hold you down. It lies and says you can't be found. But God says, listen, that's all such bull. Your cup's not empty. Your cup is full. The devil laughs right in your face, makes you think you're such a waste. It's up to you to fight your fight, to let him know he's wrong, not right. You weren't born to be this way. Screw the world with what they say. I'm not an addict. This too shall pass. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. Being honest with yourself is seemingly one of the hardest things to do. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Maybe it's because once you become honest, things become real. Once things become real, you have to deal with them. And we all know what that can lead to. Dealing with life can be very unpleasant at times. Feelings suck, let's be honest. When you're forced to see the truth, it's easier to numb the difficult feelings that arise rather than let yourself experience them. Unfortunately, numbing your feelings leads to more of a mess. It leads you down a path dark filled with deception. It's the truth, right? We hate feelings unless they're good. Who wants to feel heartache and pain? Nobody. But that's part of learning and that's part of our process. And that's absolutely part of life. I remember getting my heart broken when I was young. That was one of the worst feelings ever. Soon after, I attended my first funeral. Ugh. As life went on, more and more painful things happened. Holy crap, I just wanted to run away. For some of you reading this today, your first attempt at self medication was probably something like sneaking a drink from your parents' bar or smoking pot with an older cousin. As you get older, you likely tried different drugs. You kept chasing after that truly euphoric experience. That rush, that high, that feeling you couldn't quite put into words. You abused alcohol, sex, gambling, or anything else that held you captive. Maybe you were depressed and got antidepressants from your doctor, but you abused them after convincing yourself that the degree of your depression warranted it. You tricked yourself into thinking that what you were doing was fine because, after all, the pills were prescribed by a doctor. We all know that fine and good aren't the same thing. A common mindset is that taking too many prescription pills doesn't make you a real addict because the pills were given to you by a doctor in order to help you feel better. But is there really any difference between that kind of a pill user and a person who has a drink to relax after a hard day's work? No. Any mood altering substance is an unhealthy outlet. While everyone needs an outlet in life, it's crucial to choose a healthy one rather than an unhealthy one. The key is to find something that doesn't cause a negative effect on your health, finances, job security, home life, social life, or daily activities. Things that do negatively affect those areas are temporary fixes, guys. As long as you have your happy kit, you'll feel like life is great. The problem, however, is that once you come down, life not only sucks again, but it's even worse than before because of all the horrible things you piled onto it while high. Okay? There are all kinds of resources available to you. If you're serious about getting better, there are. I went into counseling years ago and continue to speak with someone one on one. I've stayed in touch with all my past counselors who are now my friends. And get this, some of them even ask me for advice. How about that, guys? You need to be in some kind of counseling. You absolutely do. So that someone objective can help you look at your circumstances from a different perspective. Women seem to have an easier time deciding to seek counseling than men do. We're used to opening up to our friends about our feelings on a daily basis, while most men aren't. I get that, but if you don't muster up the guts to talk to someone, you can't heal. Now, I want to talk about certain kinds of support groups and meetings. Here's it. Here's what I said just a few minutes ago. I'll never tell you not to go to them, but I want to share why I stopped going. When I first got out of the rehab facility, I was told that I must find a sponsor and go to meetings every night. So I did what I was told. And after 3 months, I not only wanted to use again, I wanted to blow my brains out. Here I was trying to stay clean, and yet I was told that I must go into a room with tons of other addicts so that we could all talk about our addictions. That didn't work for me. I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So I decided that if I truly wanted to stay clean, I needed to stop calling myself an addict. Hi, I'm Geri. I'm an addict. Boo. Nope, I'm not. I decided that God was the answer for me. I found a great church filled with recovering addicts like myself, but the difference was that we never talked about drugs or alcohol or addiction. We focused on renewing ourselves, changing our bad habits to healthy ones, accepting forgiveness, and learning how to love our broken selves. That's what worked for me. I dove into a healthy lifestyle filled with healthy outings, parties, movies, books, and more. I changed most of the people, places, and things in my life. You need to do the same. Find a healthy outlet for you that doesn't make you think of picking up. I promise you, having such an outlet works. If meetings do work for you, that's great. But if you find yourself staying clean for only so long, then try doing it my way. It certainly can't hurt. So, like I said, it's easy. You just need to. Number one, dive into counseling. Number two, find a great church or support group. Number three, find healthy friends in a healthy group setting. Number four, get up early and make your bed every day. I touch more on that in chapter 12, guys. There's a reason why I'm saying that, and I'll share a little bit with you. Number five, change your diet. You have to change your diet. You have to get all sugar out of it. Not healthy sugar. Fruits are fine. I'm talking about crap sugar, processed sugar. Okay, guys? All right. It's important that you understand that your diet is the key to your health. You need to get off all sugar, caffeine, soda, including diet, and processed foods. I know it sounds overwhelming, but if you do this for 30 days, I promise you your cravings will be curbed. If you do it for 30 more days, try it for 60, try it for 90. Then why stop? If it's making you feel great, why stop? Once you consistently feed your cells healthy, nutritious food, they stop craving harmful foods. They also tell your brain to stop craving whatever you were addicted to. I took healthy eating to the extreme. I went away to learn about fasting for health. I dove into a mostly organic diet and also started using organic cleaning supplies, organic mattress, organic bedding, organic personal items, and completely detoxed my body and continue to do so a couple times a year. I started getting colonics a few times a year to clean up my intestines for health maintenance. I invested in a juicer, started drinking healthy green shakes daily. Health food stores became my best friends. They became my new addiction. But the difference is they were healthy addictions that saved my life and made me happy and made me feel happy. Okay? I'm not saying you need to go to the extreme that I did, but removing a few of the toxic items from your diet to start will make a world of difference. Baby steps. One positive change will lead to many more. I bet you're thinking, damn, I can't afford to eat healthy. That's funny. You were able to afford feeding your addiction for all those years. That's when I get pissed. Okay, the difference between you and me is I chose to spend my money on staying healthy and not staying an addict. I promise you, it works if you work it. Your choice. Put your faith in something greater. Do it now. Don't wait till later. Lord my God, please keep me sane. I need a switch to shut off my brain. When I feel shattered, broken, and torn, when I ache and cry, tired and worn, you lift me up and wipe my tears. You whisper gently to have no fears. For my free will has lost control. To get it back will be my goal. I need to just have faith in you. There's nothing more that I can do. I'm not an addict. This too shall pass. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. So, guys, I'm going to end up reading another chapter to you, but I want to talk about the chapter I just read to you first. Okay? So, let me see what Mackie's saying. 40% practice are male sex addicts and betrayed partners. That's right. I'm gonna show that. There you go. Okay, so his info is out there. If anybody out there is struggling with sexual addiction, he can help you and your partner, David Mackey. So, what I just read to you, I want to talk to you a little bit about that before I read this next chapter. Okay, guys? So, this is important. Health food. Okay, talk about that for a minute. I can't tell you how many people have said this to me. I would say, guys, try this herb, try this vitamin, okay? And this is what they say to me while they're on 7 medications from a doctor. But what are the side effects? What are the side effects? Please stop. All of a sudden now they want to know what the side effects are, but they didn't care what the side effects were from the drugs, because I could tell you that's death. Okay? And all these pills that you're on, all the side effects from all that, ultimately disease and death. So nothing that I tell you to go on has those side effects. Okay? I'm going to tell you a story about niacin. So Bill W. Was the founder of AA, and AA really, truly began with great intentions. And if you have to go to any meetings today, go to AA, not NA, okay? Regardless of your addiction. They're still a little bit better. But when AA first started, Bill W. Set out to really help people. And this is what happened. He had a lot of addictions himself, and he also was suicidal tendencies. He was bipolar, depressed. He had a friend who was a doctor. I believe the doctor was not an American doctor, which does matter, believe it or not, because they do know a lot more than we know when it comes to natural healing. And he approached his friend, and his friend put him on niacin, okay? The one that allows you to sweat, okay? To sweat everything out of your body, all the toxins out of your body. So you kind of have hot flashes through this vitamin. Well, he did it, and it pretty much healed him. He approached AA and said, we have to get every single addict on niacin. Well, by then, the government infiltrated it, pharmaceutical industry infiltrated it, and they said, absolutely not. We're not putting any addicts on niacin. We need to keep them addicts. Did you hear what I just said? We need to keep them addicts. Okay, there's no money in anyone in this country being healthy. But I'm here to tell you guys, niacin is key, because it absolutely will make you sweat all this crap out of your body. Now, even niacin has been approached. People weren't buying their products because people didn't want to go through the hot flashes and the sweating. So now niacin came out with another one, new and improved, where you don't sweat. Then what's the point? Don't even take it. Take the older one. They're still out there, that makes you sweat. Okay? There's not an easy fix in life to anything. You have to work at it, no matter what it is. Whatever your goal is, you have to work at it. So why don't you do something to work at saving your own life? Okay? If anyone gets in touch with me on Facebook and says that they saw this video or my other part 1 and part 2, and they want my book, I will send it to you for free. Okay? I'm here to help. God has been so good to me. I am so blessed. I love you, God. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. Okay? I will pass this on. Okay? I will send it to you for free. Get in touch with me. I'm going to read another chapter. It's very important. Okay, guys? Okay. Where does your faith lie? Is it in yourself or in something greater? We all need someone to lean on, someone we can talk to, vent to, pour out our feelings to. Someone to simply listen and tell us everything's going to be okay. Many of us walk through life pretending to be so strong, pretending that we don't need anyone. But that's when we're at our weakest and in desperate need of help. Weak people refuse to ask for help when they're drowning. And that's where God comes in. In order to not drown, you need to put your faith in Him, not in yourself. For me, growing up Catholic and going to Catholic school in New York was traumatic. When I was in 7th grade, my family moved to New Jersey, and I begged my parents to let me attend public school. Making that transition was the greatest sense of freedom I ever felt. Back then, things were very different. My brother once got whacked across the knuckles with a stack of rulers that were held together by rubber bands. How about that? He was the bad one, and I was the angel. I'm not proud of this. But once my mom actually dragged a nun by her habit, the thing on her head, that habit, across the floor. Yep, my mother did, because she was abusing my brother. Also, when I was in 5th grade, I told my girlfriend my mom had let me see Elvis the previous night. Sister Matilda, who towered over me, tapped me on the shoulder really hard, by the way, guys, and sternly said, "You are going to hell if you watch him." All I could think was, hell must be a fun place. No, seriously, that experience scared the crap out of me, and so did Sister Matilda. In seventh grade, before I moved to New Jersey, I made my confirmation. In sixth grade, I'm sorry. My classmates and I were lined up, forced to enter a small dark room with a window the size of a coaster, and told to kneel on a hard wooden bench. As if that wasn't bad enough, a deep voice came through the hole and said, "Yes, my child, tell me your sins." Huh? Was my dad behind that wall? I was forced to tell this headless stranger how bad I had been, and then based on how many sins I committed, I was ordered to say a certain number of Hail Marys. I said them so fast that I could leave and go play. I didn't even know what I was supposedly praying for while reciting them. I remember coming home and asking my mother, "Mommy, why do I have to tell that strange man I was bad? Can't I just tell God?" "Yup," she said. That experience was the beginning of my realization that sometimes people maintain traditions they were brought up with out of guilt and a fear of offending their family. I, however, was too strong willed to care about such things. If something didn't make sense, I couldn't believe in it. If I couldn't believe in it, I couldn't have anything to do with it. Guilt isn't a good reason to do something. It can hold us back from so much, guys. Guilt makes you doubt yourself, and it can even make you hate yourself and feel worthless. When I was a child in Catholic school, I chose to think outside the box because I didn't like the company inside it. As I got older and realized how much hypocrisy there was in churches, religions, and even recovery meetings, I discovered that so many people I trusted from those worlds ended up betraying me. I therefore decided, other than my immediate family members and a few close friends, all of whom had always shown me unconditional love, my faith had to be put in God, my Heavenly Father. I committed my soul to my Lord Jesus Christ and stood on his words. Jesus said to him, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me." Jesus said that, John 14:6, guys. Here's the thing, people. Everyone freaks out when they think about the work they have to do for their salvation. The idea becomes overwhelming, and often you'll throw up your hands and say, "God could never forgive me after all the horrible stuff I did." That's distorted thinking. Stop believing what you've been told by religion and by churches. One of my favorite passages in the Bible is Jesus says, "It is finished." John 19:30. Once I read that, I realized God did all the work on the cross so that I could be forgiven. He did it all. Okay? That means that the debt owed to Jesus' Father was wiped away completely and forever. It was paid in full. Jesus said that himself. Not that Jesus wiped away any debt that he owed his Father, because he didn't. He was the only man without sin. But rather, Jesus eliminated the debt owed by mankind, the debt of sin. We're no longer bound to our sins, nor to the guilt associated with those sins, as long as we move forward and make things right. Jesus knew more than 2,000 years ago, before he accepted the cup for us, all the horrible sins we would commit, and yet still said, "Yes, I will die for you." Imagine that. You are worth it, you see? So the only work we need to do is to talk to God daily and ask him for the strength to continue uphill. If it worked for me, it will work for you. My friend, it will work for you. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. Your choice. So let's talk about God. Let's talk about that. So what happens is this. We put our faith in God, okay? First of all, that's all you have to do. If you put your faith in God, the rest will follow. But here's where we kind of interfere, okay, with what God's trying to do for us. So we put our faith in God. I'm going to have to keep these on, guys, to see the time. Okay. So we put our faith in God, and then all of a sudden we believe everything's going to be perfect because God's going to make it perfect for us. That's not true. Okay. The only thing God's going to do is give you salvation, number one. And number two, he will always be there to guide you. Now, here's the thing. We have free will. And I don't want to ever go through life without it. God gave us choices. God gave us free will. The thing is, what choices are you going to make? So, let's see. So Mackie's typing a bunch of stuff here. Please read it. Okay. He's making a lot of sense here. So let's talk about this. When you put your faith in God, right? And what it means. So we have choices to make. So it's just like a parent telling a child, listen, if you go over there and you touch that fire, you're going to get burned. But the child's like, I don't believe you. I'm not listening to you. I have free will. I have choices. I'm going to go over there. And he touches it and he gets burned. He starts screaming, crying. Well, the parent told him not to do it. Just like with us. God has given us a lot of, not rules. He's given us a lot of suggestions to let us know if you do this, this could happen. Right? He's guiding us, a lot of guidance. So we have choices to make. Do we want to listen to God's guidance or do we want to just do it on our own? That's when the consequences come in. All right? Because with choices, there will always be consequences. You know, I don't know. I'm just a different kind of person. I've never, ever looked back on anything in my life and said, I became the person I became because of what my family did or my parents did or what that neighbor did, or they were still my choices. So I now know 28 years later that God has been faithful, because all these years later, look where I'm at today, guys. Look at what God's doing in my life. I mean, I wrote a book in my 50s. I'm a radio show host. I'm up for Hall of Famer. I mean, in my 50s, never ever stop believing in your dreams. Never think you're worthless. Never think you're powerless. You are not. You are worth it. If Jesus Christ died for you, that means you're worth it. Okay? He wouldn't have gone through that if you weren't. So that's really important for you to understand. That is first and foremost important for you guys to understand, because anyone who struggles with addiction is not only trying to escape reality, a big part of them feels guilty about something. A big part of them feels like they have no worth. I'm here to tell you, you do. So imagine if I went through life thinking I had no worth. I wouldn't be here today helping other people. So, you know, God is so good, but he's waiting for you. You know, he's there with his arms open saying, come to me, child, and I can help you. If you don't come to him, he can't help you. Just like an earthly parent. When a child runs away, perfect example, because this is another thing I need to stress about. Someone said to me, well, if God is real and if God is God, why would he even let that happen to you just because you made a bad decision if he's really God and really loves you? What do you mean? I don't understand that thinking. Because if a child runs away from their parent here on earth, the parent can't even find them or do anything about helping them. So they've made a choice, a conscious choice to leave their parent. And that's what we've done with God. We've made conscious choices at times to just walk away from him, do it ourselves. And that causes consequences and it leads to trouble. So I'm not saying my life has been perfect, far from it. But my life has been blessed. Every single choice that I have made over the last 28 years, it's really cool how, even if it takes years later, God will give me an answer. So remember the story I told you about that my neighbor touched me and I thought all these years I let a child molester go? 2 years ago, God freed me of letting me know it wasn't true. 2 years ago, there was a family party. I didn't know it, but that family was invited from California to come to this party. So now that man was in his late 20s back then. He's now in his late 70s. Okay. He's at this party. Well, he was watching me. And at the end of the party, when no one was around, he came straight up at me with his lips perched to try to kiss my lips. So I put my hand over my lips. I turned my head and he got my cheek. And then, guys, he slapped my butt. Yep, I know what you guys are thinking. I should have knocked him out. I said, "You're still a pervert, huh?" And he said, "Yup, so what?" And he did it again. I said, "Count your blessings for 3 things. Number 1, this is a family's party. Number 2, count your blessings, I'm a Christian. And number 3, count your blessings that I love your family, or there would be an ambulance here for you and a cop car for me." But this is what happened to me, guys. I looked up and smiled and said, "Thank you, God. I'm so glad that happened. I'm a big girl. I could take somebody smacking my butt. Really, think about it. Who cares?" God did something amazing for me. He let me know I did not let a child molester go. Because if I did, he wouldn't have still been interested in me at 50 something years old. Think about that. He freed me. Okay. I'm 58 years old. He freed me. And I thanked him for that. So God has been faithful. God has been good. So I no longer have to deal with that thought. It's gone. So, guys, I just want to let you know I'm here. Dave Mackey's here. Free will. That's right, Mackey. Dave Mackey's here. Get in touch with him. Get in touch with me. If you don't have his info, I'll give it to you. He will help any males out there and their partners who struggle with sexual addiction. I will help anyone out there who struggles with any addiction. I'm a nutritional health coach as well. I will help you. With that, guys, I want to close with the poem that I wrote. Brother O loves me ending my shows with this poem. And this will give you a little bit more insight about who I am and how good God has been. Okay? And thank you all for listening in and watching my show. The Geri Petito Show. Imagine that. I have 5 shows. I can't believe it was me they chose. First Hamilton Radio, then on PANJ. Beverly Nation Online Talk Show Radio Make Way. Brother O informed me my shows are flying high. Now on Damon Network, Damon Looks will reach the sky. I can't believe the call. Good news from me to you. I'm nominated for Hall of Fame. Brother O rocks. It's true. I was even named the Jersey Jewel by Brother O. Damn, that's cool. My nickname on the other shows, Jerry the Smartass, because of my logos. Doc G started this. It's all because of you. Then I met Rob Bell on Vinny's show. It's true. Brother O watched my shows and said, please come along. If you do, I promise, with me, you can't go wrong. You won't believe this. I swear to you, it's true. Now a nominee for Hall of Fame along with Brother O. Who knew? Now picked up by my 5th one, owned by Barb and Steve. Remember Then Radio, all oldies, I believe. What a ride this really has been. Can't wait to hear Brother O and I win. But even if it don't happen, being nominated, created, clapping. For those who know me and those who don't, to keep me silent, you can't, you won't. My show will be to keep it real on how I see it and how I feel. To tell the truth and expose the lies, get out of the dark, let's open our eyes. If you want to get healthy or learn how to live, just listen to me then, inspiration I give. If addiction's your struggle, no matter which one, I wrote the book on addiction, that battle I've won. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass is the title of my book, so check it out. You won't regret the minute you take a look. A lot of info, I sure do know. So tune in and learn stuff on the Geri Petito Show. Thank you, everybody.